Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now in this video we're going to be going over the main card, ladies and gentlemen, as well as giving our predictions for each and every single fight here in the main card. Now the first fight we have to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. So my honest thoughts about this fight is Arnold Allen definitely is going to have to look to take down Giga Chikadze. That's Giga Chikadze's biggest weakness, right? Giga Chikadze is the better striker without a doubt, right? If this was a pure kickboxing striking fight, I would obviously pick Giga Chikadze over Arnold Allen any freaking day of the week, without a doubt. But unfortunately, this is MMA, and Giga Chikadze, whenever he gets taken down, because we've seen him getting taken down before, it's like he's living in a completely different world. He doesn't know what to do. He gives his back so freaking easily. It's just he accepts the fact that his back has been taken, and he kind of just like lives there until, you know, the fight transitions back into the feet. Now Arnold Allen has okay striking. I feel like it's not bad, but Giga Chikadze is obviously levels above him, so I feel like Arnold Allen definitely, you know, having some, you know, offense in terms of the takedowns is definitely going to be his best bet at beating someone like Giga Chikadze. If he tries to keep it on the feet, Giga Chikadze is going to win this fight, but I just feel like Arnold Allen has a little bit more to do, right, in terms of his positioning, whether it's in wrestling, grappling, that in my opinion I feel like he's gonna end up winning this fight. I just hope that he does not keep this fight striking wise. All right, and the next fight in the main card is gonna be Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Tavares, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys my honest opinion. I just feel like for this fight, especially for Gregory Rodriguez, is gonna be pretty dangerous for the fact that Christian Leroy Duncan is a pretty decent striker. Now in my opinion, I feel like Gregory Rodriguez is definitely the type of fighter who puts himself, you know, in the line of fire a little bit too damn much, you know, especially against the fight we saw against Brad Tavares. That is not something that he wants to do in front of Christian Leroy Duncan. Now Gregory Rodriguez is definitely gonna have to put the pressure on Christian Leroy Duncan and look to land some sort of takedown, you know, because if he doesn't, and if he puts himself in the line of fire a little bit too much, I feel like Christian Leroy Duncan is probably gonna end this fight with getting a knockout over Gregory Rodriguez, because in my opinion I feel like Gregory Rodriguez just picks some really bad positioning sometimes, and he's been known to get caught with a lot of punches that, you know, he could definitely take because he's a big freaking dude, but you know, he doesn't want to take too many of those hard punches against someone like Christian Leroy Duncan. And for that reason, I feel like since Gregory Rodriguez has questionable positioning sometimes, I feel like Christian Leroy Duncan just has to wait until Gregory Rodriguez puts himself in a bad spot and be patient, because Gregory Rodriguez is gonna do it and then look to finish this fight early. All right, and the next fight of the night, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna be King Green versus Paddy Pimblett, and I'm not gonna call King Green King, you know, because I'm gonna get confused the rest of the video. I'm gonna go ahead and just call him Bobby. But Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett, I feel like Paddy has a lot more to offer in terms of his MMA skill set. You know, we know that Bobby Green has a lot better striking, but this isn't a striking matchup at the end of the day. Paddy Pimblett is definitely gonna have to take some risk, right? Stand in front of Bobby Green and look to get some takedowns, because I think that that's his obvious way or path to victory. You know, Paddy Pimblett is definitely gonna have to try to land some takedowns on Bobby Green and try to submit him that way, because I do think that, you know, Paddy Pimblett is the better grappler slash wrestler, you know, but he is gonna have to take some risks. Like I said, for Bobby Green, obviously he's gonna have to try his hardest not to get taken down in this fight, because I think that's gonna be Paddy Pimblett's, you know, game plan, you know. So Bobby Green, he's gonna have to strike, he's gonna have to take some chances, he's gonna have to maybe overextend a little bit, you know, against Paddy Pimblett, who doesn't have the best, you know, defense for in striking, you know. So yeah, in my opinion, this fight's a little bit up in the air, you know, but my opinion, I feel like Paddy Pimblett is probably gonna win this fight. you know, because just of his overall skill set, you know, as an MMA fighter, I feel like he's probably going to end up winning this matchup. I might be wrong, but that's just the way that my brain is kind of leaning towards. But we move on to the co-main event, and that's Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. And before we go ahead and get into the breakdown of things, I just want to go ahead and mention really quickly that Tom Aspinall defending an interim belt is one of the most ridiculous things that happened in the UFC in a while. There's no reason why Tom Aspinall should be fighting or defending, you know, his belt, his interim belt. He should be fighting John Jones. But anyways, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. In my opinion, I feel like there's a lot of people that are hyping up Tom Aspinall right now because of how quickly he does move for a heavyweight. For being a guy that's 6'5", you know, he's pretty damn freaking agile. But, you know, Tom Aspinall does, you know, put himself in some pretty dangerous positions. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say they're bad positions per se, right? But the fight that we saw him have against, you know, that big ass heavyweight, what's his name, Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall was putting himself in some pretty dangerous positions, right? And granted, Pavlovich missed a lot of those shots, but if he had better accuracy, in my opinion, we probably would have seen Pavlovich become champion over Tom Aspinall. That's all I'm gonna say. Tom Aspinall takes some pretty wild chances, and so far he's been extremely successful. You know, he's gonna be fighting Curtis Blaydes, who in my opinion was winning a lot of the striking in their last matchup. I know there's going to be a lot of you guys that disagree with this, but if we go back and watch the first fight, you know, Tom Aspinall, like I said, was making some really interesting, you know, decisions in that fight, because as we know, in the heavyweight division, things change, right? Especially in the striking, where one heavy shot could grant you the win in the fight, you know. And I appreciate Tom Aspinall for, you know, being ballsy, right? Because he is very ballsy for a striker. He takes a lot of big chances, right? And those are the chances that you need to make to become champion, but they are very dangerous chances, you know. And Curtis Blaydes is not a dumb striker. He is not a dumb striker by any means. And I think that this fight is a little bit more up in the air than people might realize. You know, I kind of don't know who to lean towards, right? Because Curtis Blaydes is not a bad fighter. He's a very smart dude. You know, Tom Aspinall, like I said, he makes some pretty interesting decisions, you know, especially in the striking that so far he's been successful doing, but for how freaking long? But for this fight specifically, I just feel like Tom Aspinall right now has all the advantages in the world. If we look at it on paper, I feel like Tom Aspinall has, you know, some of these crazy statistics, you know, like in the significant strikes landed per minute, Tom Aspinall has 7.2 and Curtis Blaydes has 3.53. Of course, on the accuracy as well, you know, Tom Aspinall has 68.8 and Curtis Blaydes has 60.44, you know. And I just feel like since Tom Aspinall has all these great statistics, and on paper it kind of looks like, you know, Tom Aspinall is going to go ahead and take the win. So I'm going to go ahead and lean with what the stats say. You know, let's go ahead and root for Tom Aspinall. I feel like if Tom Aspinall loses this fight, it's probably going to be on an entry, since he has a tendency to take some really reckless decisions in the striking, right? Where one punch could change literally everything. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and pick Tom Aspinall for this one. And for the main event, we got Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with each and every single one of you guys. I don't think that Belal Muhammad should have won the fight against Gilbert Burns. If Gilbert Burns would have been 100% and healthy, you know, with no injuries, you know, I feel like Gilbert Burns probably would have starched Belal Muhammad, if I'm just being completely honest with you guys right now. Now, I personally think that Leon Edwards is absolutely going to put on a highlight reel on Belal Muhammad. I feel like he's gonna have, you know, multiple highlights for this fight. You know, he's fought and won tougher fights. He beat Kamaru Usman twice in a freaking row. And of course, we know that Leon Edwards was like losing pretty much the first fight entirely against Kamaru Usman, but the second fight came around and he made some pretty drastic, changes, especially in terms of his positioning. He wasn't freaking scared to look for entries in the grappling and wrestling and to look for takedowns against Kamaru Usman even, so he was even out positioning Kamaru, who was a multiple, defending world champion, right? And I feel like Leon Edwards has made strides in this game, and he's going to be levels above Bilal Muhammad. If I'm just being completely freaking honest, right? I feel like Leon Edwards is going to starch Bilal, and that's just the way that I see it. But anyways, that's the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to go ahead and make a quick prediction on the main card, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you guys agree, disagree with any of my takes? I cannot wait to read them. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.